Hello, and welcome back to Terror Tales of LA, the podcast. I'm your host, Adri Diaz.
And I'm your other host, Quentin Ridings.
Where we talk everything horror-related, LA-related,
comedy-related,
talking shit-related.
Yeah, just like the life of a Los Angelian.
Yes, who are also big fans of horror.
Mm-hmm. Primarily, yeah.
Primarily, yes. How's your day been? What have you been up to? The last episode we did was Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Took a little break.
There's a lot going. This has been the longest January I think all of us have ever been a part of.
It has been because the fires didn't start. The episode that we last did, the fires
hadn't started yet.
No. Our whole damn city was up in flames.
And then we had this crazy presidency start.
Yes.
And then 2 plane crashes.
Oh my God, yeah.
And this is all just the first month.
Literally crazy. And
we're expected to pay rent?
And I had a pap smear.
The worst thing of all.
It's like a fucked up year so far. So fucked up. I hate pap smears.
I know
you also hate them?
I know they're important. But like at the same time they sound very unpleasant. We gotta find a better way, ladies.
Ladies, this is on you and you need to figure out a better way.
I'm gonna invent the world's first comfortable pap smear.
Honestly, that would be great. And
yeah.
I would love for you to do that for us.
Yeah, just to finally show I'm an ally.
Okay, I don't like how you said that.
Well, this would enshrine me forever.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's been a crazy year so far. I did dry January, and I actually was successful. You also tried doing dry January, right?
I didn't try.
No, you cheated.
I had friends in town.
And what happened when those friends were in town?
I had a couple drinks.
Yeah. Then what do you call that?
Mostly dry January.
Okay, but there was a day there was a splash.
Right. That's why it's mostly dry.
Okay, but you cheated.
I mean, I'll live with that.
This was my first successful dry January. Usually I quit after like January 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many things working against me to just quit. But then actually, surprisingly, that made me more motivated just to continue on. And today is February 2nd. When this episode comes out, it'll be like, what, February 3rd, February 4th?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want everyone to know who's listening, I've been drunk ever since.
I know you like.
I started partying really hard once February rolled
You're
around.
just like living that like college junior, that first year of being able to drink legally all over again.
Yes. Well, you're so funny. I think I definitely drank more when I was underage, when I had a fake ID. And the moment I started, when I had accessibility to alcohol, I was like,
not so much.
not as so spicy.
You weren't as spicy?
Not as spicy because there was something so thrilling about having a fake ID and going to the bars. And
you don't love, it's not the act of drinking that you love.
No, it's that too. I'm definitely an alcoholic, but I think there was something that was very intriguing. Like, I definitely drank way more knowing I wasn't allowed to drink.
I mean, that makes sense. You're kind of like a little rule breaker at heart.
Yeah, I definitely angsty teenager at heart. And yeah, I had a fake ID. Did you ever have a fake ID?
I was never that cool.
Well, it's not like I like paid for like a really legit fake ID with my picture. Like, I definitely had a fake ID with like a 40-year-old Puerto Rican woman on it, and no one questioned me. Mm-hmm. It was like an actual ID, but I think I just found it, or someone found it for me, and I was like, this does not look like me at all. But maybe they didn't want to be racist, so they didn't want to.
They're like, yeah, they're just torn between. No, it's the Valley. They would have been just fine being racist.
Yeah, in the year 2014.
Yeah,
they would have.
I don't think they would have cared.
yeah, actually.
They're like, we just want your business.
I had a whole technique. Like, whenever first of all, I would always pregame before going out, just in case it didn't work.
I still have not stopped doing that.
Well, yeah. You save some money.
For the other reason, there's like being poor now. It's like, I'd rather drink at home for a while than drink one drink later.
Yeah, and set me over. No, I would always pregame. Then I would go to the bar, but what I would always do is like I was very like a bubbly kind of like I really put the charm on before I even handed the ID.
You were being a fun presence.
Yes, I'd be like, "Hey, how are you? Good evening. Okay, great. Here's my ID." And it's like this woman who's like 10 shades darker than me. And usually they didn't say anything. And Oh, honestly, yeah, I don't think they ever said anything ever.
I
I've
mean,
never been caught.
That could have also been like just pretty privileged though.
That's true, but I definitely think
I don't
I
think
wasn't as cute as I am now.
I don't think I could have pulled that off. That's like
You're like,
yeah,
hey,
and it's like
hey, King.
and it's like a Peruvian man on
Maybe if you're on in West Hollywood,
yeah,
that could've worked.
I needed to go there like the certain bars
yes.
during my twink era.
What's so funny, I do remember Halloween always being my favorite during that time was because also if you just like wear a mask or anything,
Well, yeah.
they are not.
They don't care.
More likely you're gonna get away with it because there was always this thrilling adrenaline rush of like, oh, am I gonna get caught?
Mm-hmm.
And it would suck if I got caught, but knowing on Halloween, nope, not gonna get caught.
No, that's just all bets are off that night.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did dry January, pretty successful. I had plans that night. And I was gonna drink right at midnight,
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up drinking at 8 p.m. So I guess I did kind of cheat because it was still January.
I mean, it's close enough.
Yeah,
You paid rent.
yeah.
There you go. That counts. The minute that check clears, you're like, okay, you can drink.
Well, I didn't pay rent yet because I'm always late, but I definitely at least got my half from my roommate. So that Venmo hit at least for me because I'm the one who writes the check.
All right, that counts.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't stopped
You haven't
ever
stopped
since.
yet. You saw a movie today.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get canceled. I went out the first, like January 31st,
Yeah.
got trashed next day. I only had 2 dirty martinis, but I felt like really drunk. And again, maybe it's because I hadn't drank for like a month. I had like a busy day and I was already hungover, so there was like some alcohol still in my system. And then today I had a michelada for brunch, and then I went to go see Nickel Boys, not the party vibe. And
Yeah, let's slam a couple micheladas and go see Nickel Boys.
I slammed one michelada. Okay, michelada. Honestly, one of my favorite drinks ever. A michelada is so good.
One of the only ones that combine alcohol and seafood.
Yes. You kidding me? Those are two of my favorite things. And went to go see Nickel Boys. I knew it was going to be a sad movie, but I didn't know like how sad, and it was pretty slow. It's a great movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're not here to talk about this movie today, but I did just happen to see it. But I definitely did fall asleep, and I feel really bad about that. But it's mainly because I've just been hungover, and the movie is kind of slow. It's good, but it's slow.
Just in case anyone was wondering, it's good.
I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, like, what if like it goes viral that
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh my God, this racist woman was sleeping during.
Somewhere out there's a sniper trained on you right now, a member of the woke police.
Literally, and they could take me. I need to learn. I need to be held accountable for my actions. I shouldn't have had a enchilada before this slow 2.5 hour. No, it wasn't 2.5. It's like 2 hour movie. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I do have to watch it again because I did miss a big chunk in the middle. Suicide
by cop because you didn't hold space for this movie.
Hold my finger. Ow! Yeah.
But what movie did we see?
We did see a really fun movie.
Companion.
We did see the movie Companion, and I think that's what we're going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I did see the movie Wolfman a couple of weeks ago.
I did not, but please, I think you basically put me off seeing it.
Well, I knew it was going to... Have you seen it, Ben? Yeah, our producer
also,
just gave a thumbs down.
Big old thumbs down.
The biggest thumbs down I've ever seen in my whole life. He had one of those styrofoam.
Yeah, he got a custom one made.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was going to be bad, and that's kind of why I went into it, because I was like, oh, this is going to be like a bad movie, but it's so funny because I never smoke weed, and I happened to smoke weed before this movie.
Was it also, like, was that your, like, work around dry January? We're doing, like, a California dry January?
Well, see, I was going to actually just break it, and I went to dinner, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to have, I went to this Peruvian restaurant. I forget what it's called, but it was really good. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I want to have a drink. And this was like, what, January 9th?
2nd.
Yeah. And, but then they only had like THC infused cocktails because I guess they didn't have their liquor license yet. And I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And because I usually don't smoke weed because I get the heebie-jeebies. I used to be a big stoner, and then something chemically happened to me where I get spooked.
I think getting older.
Yeah.
Like your brain, like different parts light up, and the one that's obsessed with like mortality and aging, I think, goes out in overdrive as you age when it comes to weed.
Because you were a stoner too, right? When you were younger. Yeah. So I was such a big stoner, but I also think what had happened was I would always smoke because I was always so anxious.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I had like an anxious like mental disorder. I just always thought like, oh, this is just how everyone feels, and this is something I can do to help, alleviate that. And then all of a sudden when I turned like 21, when I would smoke, all those feelings would come up because I started smoking weed since I was like 16. So whatever I was like repressing like came right back up.
Yeah.
And but anyways, I had that drink and I was like, oh no, I might have a bad night.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, it was really fun. Like I felt like a little buzzed. And
Right.
I was like, oh.
Because I can't
Okay.
imagine they're not. It's like they're trying not to put too much whatever grams of THC.
Yeah,
in,
it was
in
like
the
low.
drinks. So it's like it's a nice like almost like a microdose.
Yes, and I should have left it at that. But then I was feeling a certain type of way.
Oh, so you
Then afterwards I was like, oh, if I can handle this.
you pushed the limit.
I pushed the limit. I like literally hit a joint like twice, but I had that big cough, and when you have a big cough, that makes you more high. So I had a big old cough, and then I got so stoned and immediately was like, oh no.
You're like, I don't want to be stoned. You're like,
No, I
"Oh."
immediately said that.
Like they regretted like, oh great, I'm stoned. I don't want to be stoned, and this just started.
Yes. It was literally on the way to see the movie,
Oh, no.
and we were driving, and I was like looking at all the lights and stuff, and I was like, I think I literally said, I don't like this, with no like context prior to what I was like talking about.
Yeah.
Then the reason why I'm telling this story is because whenever we went to the movies, I was watching the trailers and I was just like so stoned that I felt like every trailer that I was watching felt like it's like a fake trailer for a movie. Like for instance, Thunderbolts. Have you seen that new Marvel movie?
It looks bad.
It looks so bad, but that was my first time seeing it stoned, and I was like, I feel like I'm in a TV show where I'm watching a fake trailer.
Oh, like you're watching like a trailer within that world.
Yes, in the world of this fake world that I'm in. It was so bad.
It doesn't help that I don't, I guess, know enough, but there's like a fake Captain America, and I don't understand why.
I
there's
don't
a fake one.
understand what any of them are doing.
And he's a wonderful actor, but Sebastian Stan has clearly gone through some kind of like, not full on twink death, but twink metamorphosis into something else.
Wait, who is that again?
He's got the metal arm.
Oh, the guy that was in
Fresh.
the Fresh, and also the Pamela Anderson Hulu show.
Yeah.
What was that show called again? It was so good.
Pam.
Pam? Was it
I
Pam?
don't know.
Honestly, it might have been that.
Yeah.
It was really good. He was
But-
hot in that.
But yeah, he's aging out of that, like that young pretty boy. Now he's like becoming more of like a serious actor. But like the problem is when you sign these Marvel contracts, because I think he's been doing it for like 12 years. It's like you don't ever think when you probably.
He just kind of blew up then, because I feel like I've only been seeing him the past few years.
I think he's like, yeah, it's been like he was never like the lead till like more recently, but it's like one of those things like when you sign up for this like small role, and I guess like I'll be doing this a decade plus later. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy to think about. And
Right.
you're supposed to like look like the same guy, because in comics they don't age,
Hollywood's brutal.
and those are the only movies that are getting made.
Damn it. So anyway, long-winded story. That movie came on, that trailer came on, and then I had only seen the teaser for Companion.
Yeah.
So when I saw like the little snippet of her arm on fire, I was like, "Oh shit, this is like gonna be some crazy like art ho scary movie."
I thought it was like they're like criminals together or something.
I had no idea, and I love that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But then I saw the trailer for the first time,
And I know. I
and
feel
then I
yeah.
was like, "Wait, what? Am I just stoned?" I was like, "This is about like a sex robot
They gave away
come
like
to life." Yeah.
the second trailer gave away too much. I think it like the studio didn't trust their audience. And they're like
Sure.
they panicked and like we'll just put more information in the next one.
And yeah, so besides being stoned, I genuinely felt like this doesn't feel like a real movie. Like, and then I felt disappointed. But then, regardless, we still went to go see it the other day because it just came out, right?
Yeah.
Like what day?
We saw it we saw it opening night actually.
Oh, we did.
That was kind of fun.
We saw it in IMAX.
We saw it in IMAX.
And I was pissed about that because I had to wake up early and we were seeing a 10:30 movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're seeing this in IMAX. I'm going to be all stimulated and not be able to sleep and wake up early. And what happened? I didn't wake up early.
I was all simulated out, but I was happy though.
No, it was good. It was good.
Got my brain percolating.
We're definitely going to throw in some spoilers. So we'll talk about how we felt about it
real
first.
quick, though, final thoughts on... You were actually talking about Wolfman.
Oh, Gaga.
Yeah, because you're talking about the trailer yourself, but you were actually talking about...
Well, that was just a long-winded story to explain to you why, when I first saw Companion, like the trailer for it, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But Wolfman Gaga.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen what the monster looks like, and this looks like a Wolfman version of Gollum, and I don't like that.
Yes.
Wolfmen are supposed to be hairy.
He was too naked.
Why are they naked?
He was naked.
I think it was one of those situations probably where the director, like, they wanted to put their own spin on, like, such an icon. Because it is a true universal monster, like, that is the Wolfman character.
Right.
And it's, like, so iconic, you probably panic or, like, you want to go, I need to do my own version of that. Well, the problem is, like, yeah, it's nice to put your own, like, spin on things, but it better be good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I kind of knew it was going to be bad. It was just like one of those things where there wasn't anything that was really tickling my fancy for wanting to see a movie. And, you know, I was fucking baked. You know, fellas, you know what it's like when you're baked and you're like, let's watch one of those movies, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where the mindset I went in. I was thinking it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
And it was bad. It wasn't necessarily like the worst movie I've ever seen, but there was just so many moments where I'm like, huh? And it's so funny. There was one point in the theater where there's like a point where he like pops up from the back of the truck and he has like a little tooth out and someone went, huh? in the movie theater. I love the huh.
Just confused by that.
I mean, I'm assuming this woman knew that what this movie was, but
Yeah.
it was just such a silly image. I think she was saying more like, "What the fuck?" Like,
why did they?
That was so silly looking.
Yeah, why did they choose this?
Yeah, like he just had like an
little
underbite and then a little tooth coming out, a little dangled tooth coming out. It was just a funny image.
It looked like Lisa Simpson.
Oh, whenever she's supposed to get braces.
What you got when the projection of what she's gonna look like?
Yeah, and it comes out like her skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of went in to see Companion being like, I'm excited, but I wish the trailer didn't tell me that. But now we're gonna do spoilers, so if you want to not be spoiled,
skip all the way to the end.
Skip all the way to the end. I don't know when, but
toward the end.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you find out.
Yeah, so let's no more talk of bad movies. Let's talk about a surprisingly good movie.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes.
Even though I knew the quote unquote twist, I felt like there was enough twists within that to make it really fun.
Yes.
Yes.
And let me just say up top, love the length of this movie.
Oh yeah.
A breezy like hour and a half.
That's all you need.
It doesn't almost except for a couple stories if they're like historical epics or something,
like
sure you can be indulgent. Yes, like a historical epic like Wicked, you can go a little long, but most stories that are self-contained, you can wrap them up in 90 minutes.
Yeah, and you should.
Because
there are so many times I'm watching a long movie where I'm like, you didn't need this scene. It was not pivotal. It made me mad.
It's great. So cool for the actor involved, maybe. This is their big break.
Sure.
But you should have been on the cutting room floor. You gotta go back to doing stand-up. You gotta go back to teaching.
Yeah, it always pisses me off. But yes, that's the only reason why I agreed to see the movie so late was because it was a shorter movie.
Yeah.
Because I knew I had to wake up early. But then when I found out it was IMAX, I was like, it's gonna be loud.
I was excited. I had the exact opposite reaction because I was excited. It's gonna be a big old screen and it's gonna be loud and like I'm gonna be locked in, and I was.
I was surprisingly locked in, but I didn't like that we sat in not recliners.
That's the only issue with the IMAX at the City Walk. I'm not sure because I feel like the Chinese theater IMAX is a little more recliny, but those are more in the orchestra section. And you're kind of like closer to the screen where you do kind of like lean back a little more. Mm-hmm. But even then, I think a lot of those just don't have a ton of leg room.
Yeah, well, it's not even necessarily that I did want a recliner, but it was more the fact that the chair just like moved. I felt like I was in a rocking chair the whole time.
I think because
it's meant to be for like when it shakes or whatever.
I think it makes sense when you're closer because like if you're like because you need to kind of naturally like lean back.
Oh yeah, we're in the back row.
But we're in the back row. Our chairs shouldn't do that.
I didn't like that it was rocking.
Yeah, if the IMAX chairs are rocking, don't you come a knocking.
Yeah, someone giving someone a dry handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, pleasantly surprised. I love the opening scene.
Yeah. I saw that weekend box office numbers already came out because it's a few days later. I love to see it's already basically broke even.
Yeah.
It was made. I think it cost under $10 million to make, and it's already around that for the opening weekend. So
Yeah, that's really great. But you had actually originally thought that the same director.
I thought this was a follow-up to Barbarian.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely did say like, oh, this is the the same minds that brought you Barbarian.
It's like that's cheap. They fooled someone dumb like me who was like, hey, that means he did this.
Right. And so I didn't think that. I kind of knew, like, I think it's just a producer thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't go in thinking it was Barbarian, which Barbarian for us is a fantastic movie.
One of
the best movies that's come out in a few
5 years. Yeah, since I'd say since 2020.
Yeah, and so, but I think what made Barbarian so iconic was that we didn't. Obviously, there was like twist on twist on twist, which is beautiful, but we didn't expect it to be so genuinely funny.
Yeah, the tone was great, and I think also speaking of good trailers, those trailers did the exact opposite.
Yes.
They didn't tell you.
They didn't tell you anything, and it's so funny because at first I was like laughing at Barbarian, where I was like, I'm obviously Bill Skarsgård, some fucking weirdo. Like, he's gonna kill you. Like, what are you doing, girl?
Yeah.
And then you find out within, like, you know, the first hour of the movie, no, it has nothing to do with him. He's just a side character, actually. Yeah. And then it's this whole other world, and it's so funny.
The big naked lady got scared because she thought that was Pennywise, and so she rocked his shit.
She did rock his shit.
She hates clowns and just so immediately just cracked his skull.
She did, with those titties hanging.
Because like I know she wanted to have a baby, so she kept the woman around and she kept Justin Long around, but she killed Pennywise.
He had big old scary eyes.
She didn't want those looking up at her.
Ew.
When he latched.
Stop. Ew.
That's what babies do.
So yeah, I think you kind of had mentioned whenever we left the theater that you weren't as like pleased because you thought it was gonna be like Barbarian. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, I knew it wasn't the same director or writers, but I knew it was gonna be fun. Mm-hmm. At least, I mean, out of the two, I would say Barbarian's funnier than Companion.
Yes, they both are billed as horror comedies. I saw, but I would say I would give points, and I think maybe this had the luxury of having Justin Long in there.
Sure, and there's no denying that little man is so talented.
He's pulled a lot of beautiful women over the years. I think probably because he's a funny little goofy guy.
Such a funny goofy little guy.
Girls love a little imp.
Wait, what does imp mean?
Like a little like a little fairy demon guy.
No, I don't know what you mean.
From folklore, they're like little creatures. They're usually like people shaped. They're mischievous. They pull like tricks. They're like in the world of fairy.
Okay. I didn't know that. Imp. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I wouldn't compare the two, and I think originally how I mentioned, like, I wish they didn't tell us that she's like a robot. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of went in feeling like this kind of feels like a ripoff of the movie Ruby Sparks that came out in like 2015. Or no, 2012, actually.
It's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, like that was like one of my favorite movies when I was in my little indie sleaze era. Mm-hmm. Because I just thought it was like so original and so cool about like this man writing this woman and she like comes to life.
And the
best part.
The other reason.
The biggest reason was my boy. That was actually the movie that made me fall in love with Paul Dano. And he's like being a really bad guy.
Yeah, he's not a nice man, but you took one look at that big old pie face.
Yep. And I said, that's mine.
That's mine. Now every time you walk every time you walk past a bakery, you get a little jolt.
Oh, get a little pep in my step.
Yeah, you're like, this pie's got me feeling some kind of way.
Quentin Writings.
What?
You said wet.
Way.
No, you said wet though on accident.
I did not say wet. Ben, roll it back.
Roll it back.
If I was being gross, I would have said you'd want to sit on the pies. You'd put a wig on them.
Quit. And glasses.
Yeah. Put like bangs on the pie.
Quit. Anyways, I loved Ruby Sparks. I love the idea of and I love the idea that it turned dark at the end in Ruby Sparks.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be like this cute rom-com where this guy finally has his manic pixie dream girl. Mm-hmm. But when he realizes, she has more layers to her, then he's like, I'm going to change her, and it becomes dark
I mean,
and creepy.
Spiritually, that is kind of in line with this movie.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I felt kind of, I was like, oh, I've seen this done before. You know, it's not that original.
Yes.
But there was definitely, even though I had the same elements of that, there was definitely so many pleasant surprises throughout the movie. I thought it was so fun. My girl, Sophie Thatcher. Is that how you say?
Sophie Thatcher.
Sophie Thatcher.
Iris. Plays Iris.
Who plays Iris, who plays the robot. I've loved her since Yellow Jackets.
I've never seen Yellow Jackets. I've only seen her
she's like
in
there's a
Heretic.
reason why she's like a star breakout.
So even in Heretic, I'm like, yeah, she's I get that she's going places.
Heretic sucked balls, but she was really good.
She was good. I think she was good in spite of being in
the
a
ball
great
sucking.
movie. Yeah, in spite of the ball sucking that this movie presented us, she was the best part.
And it's so silly. I thought Jack Quaid obviously was great in this, but I didn't even realize he was Dennis Quaid's son until I think now.
Yeah. Just a different Quaid.
Yeah, and they look exactly alike.
Yeah,
and his mom's Meg Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
He looks exactly like Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Like he's a face. He was like born to be in rom-coms.
Well, I don't think he's that attractive.
I think he's a good that kind of everyman character.
Yes, he looks like an everyman character, but I've seen in my opinion, more attractive everyday man characters.
Oh, I was gonna say I would put like more classic, like put a guy like Paul Rudd a step above him.
Oh, Paul Rudd is gorgeous. Okay, I'm being shallow right now, but I think a big reason why I'm not really attracted to Jack Quaid is he's got little cat teeth. You know what I mean? Like his teeth are like
he's still got his original chompers.
And that's great and good for him, but his teeth are a little too small for my liking.
Yeah. I think
I don't need big old teeth, but I would like little, not so little.
I think he was born to play supporting characters.
Yes.
I'm hitting my. I really liked him in this movie, but he had another trailer coming out. I've hit my Jack Quaid fatigue.
Yes.
Of like, okay, now he's too putting places right now.
Yes, and I totally agree with that, and obviously it's because he's a Nepo baby, so that's why.
And apparently everyone likes him. He is apparently a joy to be around.
And I see that. He seems like a very likable guy, despite the little cat teeth.
Yeah. As long as he's not biting you, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
He probably saves a lot of money on toothpaste.
Oh, because they're so little.
Yeah. He's just done.
We had Lucas Gage in this, who I thought he was so good in this movie. He was so fun.
He's fun. He's also kind of popped up. What has he done?
White
I know
Lotus
him.
was kind of what really put him on the map.
Getting his butt eaten on White Lotus.
I forgot about that. He does. He do be getting that butt eaten.
Yeah, and then he was a fun little small role in Smile 2.
Yes.
And that's all I know him from.
I wasn't crazy about him in Smile 2, honestly. I mean, he looked the part, he played the part, but like the death didn't stay with me.
Really, him smashing his face
Well, I think that's
with a
definitely
plate.
scary, but I think the first death in the first Smile was just like that sat with me, where she like cuts her neck. Just something about how scary he didn't scare me, and maybe that's the issue.
You know,
like, that actress in the first Smile, she scared me.
She set a tone.
And that was the tone set for the rest of the movie.
There's a reason we immediately went into the credits on that, and I don't believe after his death we went to the credits. I think that's
right. Yeah,
and that feels like maybe that was the wrong choice.
I'll never forget. I know we talked about it in the Smile episode, but like whenever that whole scene happens where that girl kills herself in front of the lead, and then all of a sudden the credits come, I was like, that was just the opening? Oh my God, I'm gagged.
I know.
And then for Smile 2, I didn't like that the credit was just like someone who got hit by a truck.
The truck. Oh, the same guy from the Kyle Gallagher.
Yeah.
Who Stream King loves to get killed in his movies.
And that's fun, and I love that. I would love to get killed in movies.
Always be the guy that's like, oh, if you show up, it's like, well, he's gonna die.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's so funny. It's a little Easter egg.
Yeah.
I hated his death, and I don't like how his blood smeared so much.
I think
it felt unrealistic.
I wanted a different car or a different vehicle, like hit him with a tank.
Yeah, that would make more sense why the blood was smeared and look at a smiley face.
Yeah, or like a garbage truck or something. Like it was just a regular ass truck.
It was just a regular car. I'm like, no way is there that much blood.
No.
Nuh-uh.
Why did he have so much blood?
For real.
What kind of weird disease did he have in that movie? He had extra blood.
But Lucas Cage was so good in this.
Harvey Guillen.
Great.
Eli. Gil?
Yeah, he played Eli. He was definitely the comedic relief.
He's a bit like he could have been Eli, like real life Eli.
My friend Eli, yeah. I thought it was like an all-star cast. I had never seen Megan Surrey, who played Kat.
When she answered the door, I'm like, who is that?
Gorgeous. Like, one of the most beautiful women
I was
I've
like,
ever seen in my
why
life.
is she not the lead?
She, like, literally looks like a Disney princess.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful, round eyes, huge eyelashes. And
Most unrealistic part of the movie that she's friends with Jack Quaid's character.
yeah, and there's, like this, like, tension, like, the sexual tension between
Well,
them.
kind of one-sided.
Well, I feel like in the movie there was, like, this, like, kind of unspoken, like, she was kind of into him, too.
Oh, I thought maybe she was like, he would always been kind of into her and she kind of tolerated it. Like,
Sure.
more like a friends from college. Maybe one day in the future, if they got drunk, she would, like, throw him a bone kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Situation.
exactly.
But, like,
Then immediately regret it.
yeah. Exactly. Because he'd probably make her regret it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the vibe I got. Because, no, it's like, why would they be friends? Him and Eli, they actually felt like more like, oh, okay, I can see them being buds.
Right. So, yeah, I think before we even get into, like, meeting those characters, the opening scene where she's grocery shopping and there's this cute little meet cute on how she met Jack.
Yeah.
And, that's, like, where she says, the best 2 moments of my life or liberating moments of my life is, like, when I met Jack and then the day I killed him. And I was like, oh, that's great writing. I think that's really fun.
Because it sets up the expectation, like, you're just waiting.
Yeah, and so because we knew it was coming, I kind of didn't like that, but I was like, oh, whatever. We kind of already know what this is.
I thought maybe it'd be one of those classic, because we don't know how bad of a guy he is. Just
Right.
It could be like, oh, maybe she'll like have to do something where she has to like stop his heart, or like, and then like, or like then resuscitate him kind of thing.
Because she loves him. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think now, again, I think I would have maybe absolutely loved this movie if I knew nothing. Because seeing all like the little hints that she is a robot before the reveal that she's a robot.
Right.
I was like, oh, that's a fun moment. That's a fun little like nod to like, oh, that's some like robot talk, or whatever.
Or like she's like, oh, the classic like, oh, this other girl Kat doesn't like her because she's just not a girl's girl kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like, she's like, oh, I feel so replaceable around you kind of.
Right. Yeah. And then see from the trailer, I think the character Kat had mentioned you like jailbroke your sex robot or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was like, oh, that's what the whole thing was. Like, maybe this was just a sex robot and he's like some sort of genius and he like rewired her to make it like a girlfriend.
Honestly, I love that he's kind of dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what I thought. I was like, oh, maybe this is like a future setting movie and he's just so smart he figured it out.
Yeah.
But no, he's just like a regular dumb guy.
He's a dumb guy. Like he did like a thing. It's like where you ask a smart tech person to give you something to jailbreak your phone or something, like because he probably just bought that little fire stick to put into stuff. It's like he doesn't know how to use it.
Right.
It just he plugs it in.
Yeah. And yeah, and so then I really, really liked, and again, this is a spoiler, so if you were testing the waters before you stopped and you don't want to hear what happens,
we're hitting you with another one.
I loved that. There was like this moment of, Kat's boyfriend,
Sergey.
Rupert.
Oh, Rupert Friend.
Yeah,
Sergey,
right?
I think his name is Sergey. The character.
Yeah,
Sergey.
the character's name was Sergey. For some reason on IMDb, it just says actor. It doesn't say his actual name.
Oh.
It just says Rupert Friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like sexually assaults her essentially.
Which I think is murky because it's like it depends with you the audience, where do you fall with like her level of sentience?
Well, yeah, that's true, and
because he said like Kat said it's okay.
Right.
Because in his mind, she's just like a weird, like almost like a living fleshlight.
Yes, but like we as the audience don't know that yet, that she's a robot.
We're still in the dark.
We're supposedly still in the dark that we don't know that she's a robot.
Because it does get very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and so he like sexually assaults her. She kills him, and then everyone's like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, you did this!" And so I really liked the twist that it was all set up. They wanted him to attack her so that she would kill him. They placed the pocket knife in her pocket.
He did a little. He was working on his close-up magic to get good enough to like plant it without her noticing.
Yeah, and you see him doing it, but not really because you don't realize. You just think he's grabbing her by the pocket, being like romantic or whatever. And then you realize he placed the pocket knife in there. He kills her, and so when they tie her up and they're like freaking out, I'm like, oh, okay, this is like where the movie's turning. We're like, oh shit, this robot's malfunctioning. She just killed someone, but then you find out, oh no, he had tampered with her settings. Aggression settings.
And her ability to harm.
Yes, just so that she could kill him, and then they could take all this rich guy's money who she killed. So essentially, like, you know, setting up this murder on her.
Yeah, it was like a fun, like, almost like a fun murder mystery element too. Like, it's classic, like, who done it, or like I think it was called like a perfect plan. It's like where you kill one person and I kill the other kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, so they're like trying to like figure out like what to do. You don't find out quite yet that was like the plan. And then when they're having this conversation where Eli and Patrick are in the conversation, and they admit to them like, okay, fine, we like jailbroke her so that we can steal this guy's money. He has like $12 million in the safe. And then they're like, okay, let's split it 4 ways. And like honestly, probably my favorite part was like when they're arguing and they're like, well, we should split it 4 ways. And they're like, no, we're gonna split it 3 ways. You guys get your own like section for not ratting on us.
Because you think like, oh, they're a couple, they deserve just one share together.
Yeah. And then you find out that like Lucas is also a companion, also a robot. And it's like, oh, it's like, this isn't just like a one isolated situation. Like, this is just a world that we live in where people have
pretty common
these robots. Yeah, and I thought that was such a fun little twist.
Do you think Eli bought his?
Well, how else would he have had it?
For so long. Well, they said, because Jack said he rented it.
That's true.
He's I have to rent.
Right.
I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I rent my sex robot.
And that's very funny. That's a very funny detail.
Yeah.
But what do you mean? What are you alluding to?
Oh, because like, I feel like he loved Patrick more. Like their relationship felt more real. He feels like he bought him.
Oh yeah, he for sure bought him. I think that guy had more money.
He took the effort to like, no, I'm not just renting you to return you one day.
Yeah. And so essentially they agree to this plan, and they're like, okay, whatever, you know, we will also be in on this.
Yeah.
Help you find, because you know Iris had escaped, and
because of for the sake of the movie, Josh. Had to like make a big deal of saying goodbye.
Yeah, and so at first you do think like, oh, like, you know, this was an evil plan, but maybe he did really care for her.
Real quick on the name Josh, great. I think definitely a good name for this piece of shit character.
Yes.
I was gonna ask you, as a woman who's dated, do you have like a top 5 evil guy names? Like just based on this guy's name, it's like I think he's probably not a good person.
You know, I don't ever think I've like thought evil, but I definitely have thought like, oh, his name kind of like is just like a boring, basic white guy name. So no, not evil, but now that you mention it, Josh is an evil white guy name.
Yeah,
that is an evil white guy name.
I don't trust him.
No, Matt, it's like so funny because you could actually go through like white guy names and then be like evil or not evil. Like Matt. Yeah. Actually, doesn't sound pretty evil, but it's a common white guy name.
I want to say Blake.
Blake is kind of evil.
Yeah, Blake's kind of evil.
Tyler's evil. Tyler always sounds like an evil name.
Yeah, because they're gonna tie you up.
And then they're gonna lure you in.
Yeah.
After they tie you up. Jake. Jake is kind of evil.
Jake can be evil. Jake can go be. Jacob. If it's short for Jacob, I think it's less evil.
Jacob not evil. Jake evil.
Yes.
What about Patrick? Wholesome, actually. That feels wholesome.
Because Patrick Star.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to date Patrick Star?
Okay, another basic white guy name. John. Not so evil. Jonathan, though, that's evil.
Jonathan's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to like go down like a frat list. I was like, it's like let me just look at all the brothers listed in this chapter.
But yeah, I thought it was really fun. Okay, one part of the movie, whenever Iris, she like kind of jailbreaks the driving car that they have, and she's trying to escape because she doesn't want to be shut down or destroyed. And you know, she's still like in love with Josh.
It's like because it's built into like her.
Yeah, it's like literally
identity.
built into her that, you know, she loves this man so much, but she feels very real. She didn't know she was a robot. But anyways, as she's escaping, a cop pulls her over, and so she's thinking like, okay, well maybe if I guess her plan was if I speak a different language, he'll think like, oh, like.
Well, also because they can't lie.
That's true. Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. So she changed his little setting in the cell phone because she stole it before she
Yeah,
left.
I guess they don't have a lying setting.
Yeah, they don't lie. And
So workaround.
yeah, workaround was like, I'm gonna change my language setting.
Yeah.
And that was actually a scene from Ruby Sparks.
Really?
Well, not
What, a
exactly
cop
in that
pulling them over?
context. Not in that context. It was like, I think the woman who played Ruby Sparks in Ruby Sparks, who is Paul Dano's actual wife.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid bitch. But I'm just kidding. But in the movie, I think the only other language she could speak was French. So I think that was just her showing off
That she can speak good
that
French.
she could speak French. She's fluent in French. So in the
She also speaks rat.
she also
like
steals
her-
not girl code for stealing my man.
Oh, other like her grandfather, famous rat
Oh, that's
from the Red
right.
Scare.
What's her
Name
name again?
names.
And she's Zoe. No,
Yeah, Kazan.
Kazan. Yeah.
I believe Lawrence Kazan.
Wait, no. Let me look it up.
He so yeah, because like he got a lifetime achievement award in the Oscars, and like in a very rare for that award is about half the members of the Academy did not stand up when he received the award because they remember, because they should fuck him. If you're
Yeah,
willing,
Zoe Kazan.
yeah, if you're willing to rat on your friends, he even made a movie that like with Marlon Brando on the waterfront, which is all about a noble informant.
But what did he write about specifically for people who don't know?
He like during the Red Scare, like they were trying to like find un-American activities, and so, Hollywood has kind of a leftist bent, so there was like people that were interested in communism, and so they were trying to root out people who like were avowed communists.
Okay, yeah.
And he would like name his like fellow like people he worked with, and like these are like friends and collaborators and like people you've probably known for years, and if you're willing to turn on them, then you are kind of a piece of shit.
Right, and I would argue and say between the two, what Zoe did to me was worse because she took my man.
Your dream guy.
My dream guy.
Your
That's
dream.
fucked up. That's my dream guy.
Your dream date.
But anyways, so yeah, in Ruby Sparks, he's trying to prove to her that like, hey, you're just like a figment of something I made up. Like anytime I write something, you will do it.
Yeah.
And so in the scene, he like writes like Ruby speaks French, and so she's like speaking French, and she's like, the captions are there to say like, wait, I can't speak French. Why am I doing that? So it kind of felt very similar to this movie where she was all of a sudden speaking Russian.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
Okay. To backtrack a little bit, before this scene, they're in the woods. She's fleeing, and the gang has Scooby-Doo style split up to search for her.
Yes.
And
Eli has a gun.
And Eli has a gun from the safe. Well, they have to kill her. And so in the classic sort of movie way, they find her, they fall down a hill.
Yeah.
And then they wrestle for the gun, and of course she ends up shooting Eli.
Yeah, that's right. She killed Eli.
And so
poor
she
Patrick
runs.
was so sad.
And he was so sad because they just established they genuinely loved each other.
Yes.
He loved his sex robot because in his mind he wasn't just a sex robot; he was a person. And Patrick was also self-aware.
Yeah, he knew he was a robot. Yeah.
He probably turned his little slider up because you didn't fuck with the intelligence. I bet you his intelligence was up there.
Oh, that's right, because she had mentioned like how she was kind of pissed that he only had her at
40%
capacity of
I
intelligence.
think she just sounded like disappointed. It's like, oh, this is the guy that like
Yeah.
this is what he's really like.
Right, exactly.
He wanted a hot dummy.
Yeah. Which she kind of was. Like she was very sweet. But she it's just because she's a robot. But yeah, like she kind of thinking about it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of like what like a dumb hot girl would do. You were saying that you loved her teeth.
I did. I loved her fucked up little teeth. Well, I guess they're not little, but
Don't say fucked up.
but like okay, not like,
Veneers.
they're not veneers. They're not like overly
Big, prominent.
yeah.
They're just natural.
They're her real
She looks
teeth.
real. She looks like a real,
And
like a
there-
genuinely
I
like, real
miss
person.
A time period where actors could look more like people.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
for
she's
sure.
beautiful, but it's like she still to me looks like a person.
Yeah, she looks like a person, but her cadence and also just how she looked, she really sold me on that she was a robot. She looks like a sex robot or a sex doll because she's just like big eyes, pretty porcelain skin, like big lips. But yeah, her teeth were a little crooked.
But, yeah.
But that's fine.
Maybe he requested it.
Yeah, that's the setting he chose.
Yeah. He custom. That was like a
He
big
wanted
thing.
to feel like he was seen because he had little rat teeth.
Yeah, he's like, I want this to be like people will kind of look at us and maybe be like, what's she doing with him? But they'll also be like, yeah, I can kind of see them together.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, Eli dies.
We get a fun little scene where he sends Patrick now to go hunt her down.
Yeah, so they had to reprogram Patrick to make Patrick fall in love with Josh. And this is when you start really realizing how evil Josh is.
Yes.
This isn't just like a one incident of like, oh, he just really wants this money. But also it's just like, oh, he doesn't give a fuck. He'll like throw anyone and everyone away.
He's a bad person.
Very bad person. And yeah, so they reprogram him, and then Patrick's new love memories are set on Josh now. And it's funny to see because we get the meet cute of Eli and Patrick early on of like how they met and fell in love, but then we see in the next scene that like he's gonna have the same memories but with Josh, and that made me laugh out loud. That scene where it was just like Eli was replaced.
Exactly, a mirror scene.
That felt very barbarian.
Yeah,
to me. That was probably the funniest part of the whole movie.
Very sketch comedy.
Yes,
like, just
very
to run it back
comedy.
exactly the same way.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, it was very funny.
So Patrick now is all jailbroken and evil. Well, not evil, but like his aggression's at 100%.
Yes.
He's crazy.
And he can now harm another
He can
companion or person.
Because he kills that cop pretty brutally.
Oh, yeah.
He like pistol whips him to death.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever the scene wherever she, is speaking Russian, Patrick comes, kills the cop.
Who I just found out I know. Personally? Yeah.
The cop?
Yep.
Who?
Mark Menchaca.
Okay, well, how do you know him?
I met him 10 years ago when I first came to LA. My dad knew someone he knew because he actually went to Texas A&M where I went to school. And he was very nice enough to meet me like for like a coffee and just kind of give me like, you're kind of welcome to LA. Here's like how to be an actor kind of stuff. And, just like basic good advice, like take classes, that kind of write your own stuff. Because he's like friends with the Duplass brothers. He's from Texas.
Got it.
So like, he knows those guys as well from like.
So you didn't realize that was him?
Because I haven't talked to him like in a decade.
Yeah.
But I was like, and then I was looking at the casting, and I was like, why is that Nate Menchaca? His last name is like very like distinct.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did I know that? And I was like, oh, that's that guy.
So your dad was trying to set you up? Just
to like make a Hollywood. Yeah, my dad being a Hollywood player. He was wheeling and dealing when I first got to town.
That's very sweet.
I know, it's super nice, and then it worked.
But do you think that maybe you had bad vibes, and that's why you never hung out with that guy again? He's
like also like 15 years older than me.
So.
Do you think so? When I first got to LA, he wanted to hang out with me. He's like,
maybe
this guy past his mid-30s at this point and wants to hang out with a kid like in his 20s, early 20s.
If you had great vibes, yeah, he would.
He like, this guy makes me feel young.
Yeah, this guy makes me feel alive. And so yeah, that's cute that you had a little moment of knowing that guy. Well, it's so funny. There that you have that kind of like, would you call it second degree kind of like
degree of separation?
Yeah, where I also had a second degree of separation with the guy Eli. What's his name again?
Harvey Guillen.
Yeah, Harvey Guillen. He, he's like a Latino comedian, and he's friends with our friend Carlos, who's on the pod, and yeah, he almost like did my show once because we were looking for like Latin talent because like the show that I did monthly was we would get like an all Latin improv group, storytelling, and then we do improv based off that. So he actually almost did the show. He told Carlos like, oh, I would love to, but I have to do the next show, blah blah blah. Never happened, and we don't know. Maybe he's too big now. But anyways, look at us.
Or maybe he was too tired
from
being old.
How old is he? Oh, right. We were talking about this prior. Yeah. It says online that he's 34, but you know for a fact that
he knows our friend Carlos, who is not 34. And they were, and funny enough, when they were hanging out years ago, they were kind of the same age.
They used to be the same age, and all of a sudden now they're not the same age.
Yeah, I guess when you get more famous and big time, you get to find they tap you into some kind of fountain of youth.
Well, it is funny because he does look young, but I could totally believe that he's actually 40.
Yeah, because I'm more mad at him that he dared make himself a year younger than me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more pissed about.
This person I don't know.
It's like Okay, if you had made us the same age or made yourself like a year older, I'd be okay. I probably would have said nothing. But the fact that you made yourself a year younger than me, I don't like that.
You took it so
yeah,
personal.
I took it personally.
This person you don't know
exactly.
at
You
all.
were lying. You were not a year younger than me. You old bitch.
He was great in it though. He was really
He's funny.
funny.
He's
really
talented.
funny.
He's just lying. Women, it's not just women.
Yeah, men can also lie about their age. And so yeah, then we.
And isn't that empowering?
Yeah, that makes me feel good.
Yeah, we both do it.
But yeah, let's wrap this up with a nice little bow. We finally get Patrick getting Iris, taking her back to the house that they were at. To essentially disassemble her, frame her for this murder, for everyone's murders, Eli, everyone else.
Yeah,
it's just getting really messy.
It's too messy now. Kat wants to leave. He of course does the thing where it's like, "Hey," he doesn't use his words, but he said, "Hey, stop her."
Yes.
So
Patrick naturally stabs her.
The most logical explanation.
Yeah, because Josh is essentially like abusing, Patrick and Iris at the time back then, like to do whatever he wants. So he told her stop, and then give her a good old stab in the back.
And then we get eventually he makes her shoot herself in the head, and we think that okay, there's
Iris,
Iris gets shot, shoots herself in the head like after he recaptures her, and they're like, okay, I guess there's still a movie left. What's going on? So these two texts come, and he like goes through his story. And it immediately sounds very flimsy. Even like it's clearly they think he's bullshit. They're like, oh, by the way, well, she shot herself in the head, but thankfully none of her actual like memories damaged because she's like a computer.
Yeah,
it's like so her like the computer part, like the hardware is in her like belly. It's essentially like a computer shooting itself in the monitor.
Yeah,
and thinking that like destroys like the memory.
Right. Yeah, and that was like a funny like dumb guy moment of him realizing like, oh wait, she like records all her memories, and
he's a really classic dumb guy plan, like where he thought like this is so smart, I'm gonna get her to kill someone and I'll get off scot-free, and
then not realizing like they could check the settings. Yeah, you did, and
you really did not do your homework on this.
It's funny that there's even the setting is accessible, like it's available. I mean, I guess he did jailbreak it, but it's funny to think
goes back to it's like he just like basically probably bought a jailbreak.
Yeah,
he's not smart enough to do it himself.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So they take her out. They start uploading her. Patrick dressed as a cop to kind of corroborate his story, which I think is a really fun nod to Terminator. There's a couple references.
That's so true. I didn't
because I believe they either named him Patrick because the actor from Terminator 2 is named Robert Patrick.
Oh, okay.
The guy that played the cop.
But that is totally the vibe that I got because And
at the end of the movie when she's like peels off her hand. Kind of looks at that's a Terminator hand 100%.
Yeah. I like that.
That was a fun little illusion. He kills one tech. Patrick kills one tech. Then he is trying to strangle the other one for some reason, going really, really slow with it. They
love to go slow.
The slowest choking I've ever seen.
They love to kill someone slow or super fast.
Giving Iris just enough time to boot it back up.
Yeah. And then I think Iris is.
She rescues him.
She rescues the tech guy because she reminds Patrick, like, wait, no, you really love Eli.
Yeah.
And there's like this sweet, tender moment where he's like starting to realize, like, oh yeah, actually, I do.
And so he puts a cattle prod in his mouth.
Yeah.
He kills himself.
That's romantic.
Yeah, he kills himself hardcore.
Fellas, if you're not doing that.
If you're not willing to stick a cattle prod in your mouth for the man you loved who just died.
I don't want you.
That's not real love.
That's not real love.
It's fake.
Yeah, it was very sweet and tender, and it was nice to at least see that dynamic in a relationship where, I think it's easy to like assume that like Josh and Iris's relationship is like every couple who has a companion, but it was nice to see one couple who actually did genuinely love each other, even though one was programmed to do it.
Yeah, but, something real grew out of it.
Yeah, and then, and this is my only note, and we've talked about this before. Where it was like the thing where now it's just Josh and Iris, and then Iris.
She's been fully unlocked now.
She's been fully unlocked because the tech guy did that for her.
Which is why they couldn't kill the tech. Because
right.
For the sake of story, we need him.
So she comes back and she's just like, I'm free from you, blah, blah, blah.
And then,
sorry.
And then classic like evil soccer boyfriend's like, you'll never be free from me. You love me. It's part of your programming.
Yeah,
it's who you are kind of thing.
And that's all fine and dandy, but the fact that that scene took forever, like he was just throwing her around all over the house, I'm like, just kill her if you want to do that.
I'm gonna take my time kind of bullshit.
Yeah, and then we talked about this. We don't really like that corny kind of cheesy ending where someone's like choking someone. And they reach out to whatever's
barely.
Near them.
They're so close to reaching that thing.
Yeah, and then they were like foreshadowing this like corkscrew opener.
Yeah, like a special wine opener.
I should have known that was coming back up because there was too many close-up shots of this corkscrew opener.
Yeah, it's like they're really impressed with this way this wine opener works. Why do they keep showing that? Whatever. I'm sure it's not important.
Yeah, so she puts the wine opener.
That's a fun way to kill
It was a
someone.
fun death, and his eye got a little cuckoo.
Little fucked up.
Yeah, a little wonky eye.
Yeah.
When she put it through his temple. And then she killed him, and then she's just like, all right, I'm going to go live my life. My hand's all burnt up because he was torturing her. Mm-hmm. But now she has a Terminator hand, which, again, kind of like Ruby Sparks.
She also had a Terminator hand?
No.
That movie also ends?
No, my man, Paul Dano.
Yeah.
Freed her, wrote, like, you were free, you were your own person. So similar.
It's kind of like the nicer version of this movie.
Yeah.
That's the more romantic version.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I kind of actually didn't like in Ruby Sparks that Paul Dano and Ruby Sparks got back together because she, like, forgot him. I don't like when movies do that. I'm like, he was evil to you. Like, you know?
It'd been better if, like, he loved her enough to let her go.
Yes. Well, he let her go, but then she came back.
Well, because she's simple.
No.
Her ass doubled back. She didn't know what's going on.
That's the whole point of the movie was like he liked her simple, but then she started becoming complex, and that's when he started changing her.
How did she get an apartment?
She was cute. She worked at a coffee shop.
What did he do? Like write her a credit score?
Yeah.
She has good credit.
He wrote has a social security number.
Yeah. He did a lot of work for her, apparently, if she was surviving on her own this whole time.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rating of it. What do we feel?
This is for me, this is what I want of a solid B horror movie. Mm-hmm. This is a B+ horror movie for me.
B+, yeah.
It's a great way to start my year. I'm happy with this. With between this, like Nosferatu, kind of ending last year, we're in a good spot for horror right now.
A lot of good movies have come out, and I had so much fun with this movie.
I think it's like fun. It's two ends of the spectrum. We went more the artsy way with Nosferatu. This is not that artsy. This is more like there's like whatever more stylized elements, but ultimately it's like a fun B movie, and I like that.
Okay, so
B+.
do your little Quentin.
Oh, I guess 4 out of 5 robot fingers.
Okay. For Adri Tomatoes, I will do an 89% aggression level.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I thought it was really fun. It was really good, and I love when a cast is hot, except Jack Quaid. I don't think he's that cute. Sorry.
Maybe I think for someone like we'll probably give him points for being like he's probably taller, right?
Ooh.
He looks like he might be 6'1" or 6'2".
Yeah, and that's like way taller than you.
Plus he's got the little hair.
Yeah, at least 6'3" with the hair.
The hair doesn't count. Put a hat on that. It's cheating.
Just taking everything personal with this cast.
Now you know what? It's starting to feel like more like a B to me.
Okay, well, I guess we have a special guest, right? That's what you said. I didn't plan the special guest.
Well, yeah, because you were like away. I did a solo episode of the pod.
Well, yeah, I was running from the fires.
Yeah, I had some time, and I decided, you know what? I don't know. You've been kind of like pushy and mean to me over the years.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
When have I been pushy or mean?
I blanked. I went to like a stressed state. My mind blanks itself. But I have a big old journal.
No, you don't got a big old journal.
I got notes.
No, you don't. I am not pushy, nor am I mean.
I got binders.
No, you don't. No, I know for a fact you don't. Because I've never seen you at an Office Depot in my life.
Because you're always hanging out at Office Depots.
Yeah.
Well, I have a special guest, and maybe even a replacement. Maybe this is more of a tryout.
Are you replacing yourself?
No. I was thinking we could maybe use some like fresh, maybe younger blood in here. Fresh young face.
Who is this person that you booked? Because I was too busy running. Sorry, not from the fires, in the fires.
Yeah, you're fighting them, like with your fists.
Yeah, I was socking those fires out.
You're giving punchies.
Who did you get as a guest?
Well, I'm pretty broke, but I was able to get a free month trial
Of?
of a companion, actually. A specific companion, a podcast host companion.
To replace you.
No, they're calling it this one's called the Adrianna model.
Like Adriana Lima? The model?
I couldn't afford that.
You are a nasty man.
This is more
So you're going to replace me.
We're gonna try it out.
And what do you want me to do? Where is she? Where's the robot?
I'm pretty thirsty. Would you mind just running down to the store for a little bit? I could use maybe like a kombucha.
You're telling me you're going to replace me, and then you're telling me to go get you a fucking kombucha because your stomach hurts and you have diarrhea.
Yeah. See this, the companion would not be giving me this much lip. It'd already be halfway to the store.
You know what? You're so
It'd already be
lucky.
halfway to the store.
You're so lucky that actually I do need a kombucha.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of movie popcorn when I saw Nickel Boys, and I probably have slight diarrhea.
I feel like as I'm becoming more evil, my teeth are shrinking.
You're so lucky. I need to go get a kombucha right now.
Yeah, go clip your weird popcorn guts.
Fucking make
I know,
me so
I know that fake butter runs right through. All right, please let's welcome to the podcast my potential new co-host, Adrianna. So natural. She's moving so smoothly. You would never know that she's a companion.
Hello, Quentin. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I don't get to ask that very often on my other co-host.
What? Who was your prior co-host?
Adri, she's like a comedian.
And she wouldn't even ask you how your day was?
No, she'd like me to ask her questions and be like, let her do like 90% of the talking.
Oh, that's not good.
She liked to say that men should be seen, not heard. Yeah.
That was a weird setting hiccup I just had. Sorry.
I
don't believe that at all. I think men should only be
only be heard.
heard.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you guys have scary feet.
We do.
Yeah.
I know. We try to keep those toesies hidden.
Well, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. I just knew when we had that first time when we met, I just knew I wanted to be your co-host.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we sat down on that couch and we both picked up mics at the same time.
Yeah, because we were at that coffee shop.
Yeah.
And we both reached for the same
microphone. Yeah.
In the middle of blue coffee.
Blue bottle.
Blue bottle coffee.
Yep.
And we locked eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you had this funny moment where you said, "Do you like podcasts?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yes." It was so funny.
It was like, and the whole place erupted in laughter.
That was so great. And I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. So we're trying, so I sent Adri to the store just to step away.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to just maybe like try a couple of like a little quick dry run of a podcast.
Absolutely. I would absolutely love that.
Okay. So do you have a favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite scary movie?
No, do you have a favorite scary movie?
Yeah, but I want to know what's your favorite scary movie.
I'd say The Shining.
The
on a
Shining.
good day. Oh, that's yours.
That's my favorite scary movie.
What do you like about it?
What do you like about it?
No, but what do you like?
You like about it?
I mean, I like the acting.
The acting.
The cinematography.
Cinematography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good too.
That's why I love The Shining.
I like that you share these interests with me.
Absolutely. Because that's the setting that you programmed me.
Yeah, I did do that. Moving on. How about bits?
I love bits, but only if do you love bits?
I love bits.
I love bits.
And riffing.
And riffing.
Do you like maybe like do you want me to set you up for something?
Absolutely.
How about I would love to see like Wendy Torrance trying some stuff out at an open mic.
Okay, but like, how would you do that?
I I don't know. Like, shoot,
You're so good.
thanks. I wasn't trying, but
Oh my God.
that does make me feel affirmed and more comfortable.
And I'm so sorry that this previous co-host never laughed at anything you ever said because she really, really resented a lot of the things you would say.
She did. She didn't like me trying to be funny.
Oh, that is so silly of her.
I know.
Because you as a white man should absolutely say everything that comes up in your head, and we should all laugh all the time.
Yeah, man. I'm really feel like I'm getting what I paid for.
What? What? Am I doing something wrong?
You're doing something right.
Oh. Do you have a boner?
It's more like a half chub. But it's strictly because it's like I get it around like comedy.
Okay.
Whenever I'm like really crushing.
Got it. Yes, and you're always crushing.
And I'm always crushing, so
you're so funny.
I'm always half erect.
You're so funny when you're always half erect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have a great sense of style.
I wouldn't say great, but
no, it's so good. I love how your buttons like go like too far down, like you're European, but you're not.
I mean, they go their normal amount.
No, there's I would say like one more button is appropriate.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Take that intelligence down a couple more notches. And sass level. How'd that get up there? And we're gonna bring that back down too. You were saying about my style?
Good.
Exactly. And how's my hair?
Good.
Maybe it's a little higher. Okay, intelligence is up a little bit. And my hair is looking good, full.
Yes, and
okay. What else do we? What else do we? We also like to do fun interviews. If I was like, say, if I was in character, and I was sitting down, I was like, I don't know, I'm Count Orlok, but like in a kind of like Borat kind of way. How would you like? What kind of probing questions would you throw?
I don't think you should be anyone else but yourself because you're perfect.
That is true, but for the sake of the podcast,
I would just want to see you talking.
Okay.
And I think you have a better mustache than Orlok.
I don't have a mustache, but I'd like to think I could.
You could.
Yeah. Ooh, is there anything we can do about that laugh?
Yeah, of course. If you need to change that laughing setting, let me know.
Here's one. Demure. Happy baby. Mm-hmm. Ooh, old hag. I don't know who that's for. Fran Drescher.
Mr. Sheffield.
I see that was in beta. They're working. I think they're still working that one out. Let's go back to default. Yeah, I'll live with it.
Oh my goodness. It's so nice being with the best podcast host ever.
I know. I'm really carrying this.
Yes, you're carrying it so well.
You're totally worth how much was it again a month?
Well, you did the
this is a free trial.
Pay now, pay later. Oh, you did the free trial.
This is a free trial, but like going forward, this would be like $1,200.
Well, you can do the what's it called again, where you split up the payments? What's it called?
It's not. I guess you like kind of defer
Afterpay?
payment. It's like no. There's a word. It's like paying on layaway.
Yeah, you could do that. You can only pay $12 every 2 weeks for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life. But I get this level of banter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way people could stay away from our podcast at this point. You'd basically pay for yourself.
Exactly.
Oh man, I got some news to break to Adrianna when she gets back. Yeah, she's really taking her sweet time with that kombucha. How do you feel about me getting a little political on here? Is that
Yes, and if we're talking about women's rights,
Mm-hmm.
go for it, King.
Great. How do you feel about prolonged Trump impressions?
Who's doing them?
Well, me, obviously.
Oh, then 100%. Yes.
Okay. So you're just kind of going along with everything I say, huh?
Yes.
This may sound weird, and maybe this is the masochist in me, but I kind of there's not a setting to make you mean on here, and I don't know how I feel about that. I've learned to crave the lash over the years,
Oh, like you're addicted to the chaos?
the chaos and the kind of bullying.
Oh.
Like I don't know anything else.
I could try to be mean.
Give me your worst.
Okay. Your neck,
Mm-hmm. What about it?
it's not as big as Florence Pugh's.
Oh, that does make me mad because that's not objectively not true. My neck is clearly longer than hers. She has a little stumpy neck.
But did I do good?
No, you did bad. You just made me mad.
Oh. Your hokas that you're wearing
Uh-huh.
are like really clean.
That's not being mean though.
No, because that means that you don't go out much, like so you don't wear your shoes often because you stay at home.
I mean, it's true. It doesn't make me feel bad though. Adriana has a way of like kind of really cutting to your core. She's like really good at bullying.
Might be from some unresolved trauma, but who's to say?
Who's to say? I don't know. I think that's maybe I'm realizing the bullying was kind of this special sauce that made this whole thing work.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I mean, and I don't want you to take this too personally. I mean, you're robots. I don't think you can. But I gotta say, Adriana, go to sleep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like the robot. Yeah. Can someone like come like pick her up? Oh, not till tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, I don't live here, but I'm sure she'd be fine overnight. 8 a.m. is the earliest she can come? Yeah. Someone will be here to pick her up. Okay, thanks. Yeah, no, we're not going forward. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel. Okay, bye. All right, this show's all about trial and error. We take big swings here, and I realized, a couple things about myself today, and that I like to be bullied. I like a little antagonism, and I don't like people that are just like overly nice. And I think that was important to learn. So until next week, I'm Quentin Ridings.
And I'm going to be disassembled.
We'll see you next week. Bye.